Part number 6 is going to end up looking like this after the first operation, and then there'll be some wire work that'll get done to it. If we look at the configuration manager, you'll see that the part ends up looking like this at the end. But we need to do this in multiple setups. So what we're going to do is kind of churn this off, leave a big knob on the end of it here, and then we'll wire these shapes on. So we'll wire the side profile of this, and then we'll turn it up on end, and we'll wire this shape through here. And that'll be in a special fixture. And then we'll put it in another special fixture, and we'll do this hole, and the slot. So to get started with, you'll want to have it on the configuration that looks like this. And we're going to go into Delcam for SolidWorks, and we're going to machine a part. Yes, we want to use the current, and we're going to do MC inch churn. Once it brings it in, we need to get it aligned in the Z properly. So what we can do is, for our stock axis, choose this cylinder here, and that'll align it. And we're not worried about the being at the end of the part yet till we get to our setup. I'll go to the next tab, and for our stock, I'm going to use a bounding cylinder of this part. Radially, I'm going to add 25 thousandths material, and if we don't have stock that's 1 1/4, if it's 1 3/8 or something, we'll have to add more so that it churns it properly. On the front, I'm going to put on 10 thousandths, and on the back, something like 1.5 inches. And our material will be stainless steel. And then I'll hit OK. The location is in the proper spot alignment-wise, but it needs to move over half of this diameter. So right here, I'm going to put in 0.1875. And you'll see it shift over to the end of the part. And then I'll hit OK. So now the part is aligned and it's ready to go. Now if we try to come in here and just churn this shape, you're going to get a lot of chatter in this area. What we've found works best is to rough this off, finish this, and then come in here and rough this out, and then finish this, and then cut it off. So we need a couple sketches to do that work from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my front plane, and I'm going to make a sketch. So I'm going to click on the Sketch tab, Sketch, and then I need to convert the entities through an intersection curve method. So I'm going to click Intersection Curve, and I'll start out with this one. I'll pick this face and this one. And I'll hit OK. And you'll see it gives me this shape here. Now it's too much. I want to be able to trim this off at the midpoint. So what I need to do is create a line from the midpoint of this line just out a little ways and hit Escape. And that's just going to be used to trim this off. And then I'm going to delete it after the fact. So we'll go to Trim Entities. I'll trim this one. Trim this one. It'll give me a little warning, say it's going to divide that at the midpoint. And then I'm going to trim this one out. And then I'll hit OK, and I have my first curve. However, I do want this curve to extend a little bit further this way. So what I can do is go in and edit that sketch. And I need to get rid of this relationship right here. I'm going to click that and hit Delete. And you see this comes into a blue. And I'm going to look at this in the view that I'm drawing this in. And then what I can do is I can zoom it in a little bit, and I can take this end point of this and I can just drag it out a little ways. And I don't need to go too far, but just so it comes a little bit past that there. And I'll accept it. So now that sketch is good to go. I'm going to now make another sketch here. So again, I'm going to go into my front plane. And from the front plane, I'm going to click Sketch. And again, Intersection Curves. I want to choose this face, this face, this face, and this face. And then I can hit OK, and it will give me the curve. I don't need this bottom half, so if I right-click somewhere on that line, I guess I actually have to hit Cancel here. Then right-click somewhere on this line and say Select Chain. I can hit Delete, and it'll just give me this top half. Now I need this to extend a little ways, so I'm going to delete this relationship. And then I don't want this to move out of the right angle here. So to get that to lock into place, I'm going to say to Smart Dimension from here to here, and let it be whatever it gives me, and hit OK. Now I can take the end point of this, and I can drag it out a ways. I have to get out of Smart Dimension first. I can drag this out a little ways so that it goes a little past the part. That's a little far. I don't want to go quite that far. So back it up a little. I also don't want this relationship showing. Alright, so right about there. And I'll hit OK. Now I have both sketches that I need. So let's get this programmed. I'm going to go up here to the Delcam tab. I'm going to do a new feature. It'll be a churn bore, and I'll hit OK. And the sketch that I want to use is this first one here. And you'll see it'll try to churn that. I'll hit OK there, and it has programmed the end of the part there. It's using an 80-degree diamond. Now you may need to adjust that to a 55 if you want, or you can have it rough with the 80, then finish with a 55. I'm just going to leave it with 80 and 80. And if I simulate this, you'll see it come in here, rough this off, and finish it. Now I'm going to come in and add this portion. So I'll do a new feature, churn bore. I'll use this sketch. And I actually want it to go along the back of this as well. So I'm going to cancel out of here. And I'm going to edit this sketch to create a line from the endpoint there over. So I'm going to go into the view that I can see this better in. So it looks like I'd have to go to my right side view there. So if I pick here, I can go out a little bit past my part and hit OK. And accept that. Now you'll see that it'll go a little past, and I'll finish this top off. So I can go back to new feature. Okay. Choose this sketch now. See, it gives me everything I want, and I hit OK. If I play this now, you'll see it come in rough, and what it's going to do is rough both of them and then finish both of them. And that's not quite what I want. So I'm going to need to change the order of operations a little bit. It's trying to be smart and do it the way it thinks it should do it, but we want to kind of override that. So you'll see it finishes everything. Stop it here. So I'm going to go into my results tab on the bottom, and I'm going to drag the rough pass, the second one here, I'm going to drag it down under the first finish. So it's going to rough finish, rough finish. Then I can go back to my model, and when I play it, it's going to do what I want. It's going to rough the front off here. And then it's going to come in and it's going to rough off this relieved portion. And then it finishes it. So the last thing I need to do is cut this off. So I can go in here to New Feature, Cut Off, rotate this around, pick the end of my part. When it asks me, I want a width of 165. My outer diameter is my stock. Gives me everything I want. I'll hit OK. And now it'll come in and I can cut it off. Now you'll see, because I had changed my order of operations, it is no longer auto ordering it, which is good up until the end here. I don't want to cut it off before I do the rest. So what I can do is go into my results tab and just take my cutoff tool and drag it to the bottom. Now under my model, speed this up a little, and cuts it off. So that'll be the first portion of what you need to do. So that's it for setup number 1.